Yo, what's good, YouTube? I'm back with another reaction video, and we doing the Celtics 86 inside the Green Machine. I know this is going to be a good one right here. I definitely found this, and I was like, you know what? I definitely got to react to it. So we definitely about to get into this one, y'all. Appreciate all love and support. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that like button, and let's get straight into the video, man. We don't waste no time. Get straight into it.
Celtics 86, Inside the Green Machine, is sponsored in part by Stop & Shop Supermarkets, proud sponsors of the Boston Celtics, and GTE Sprint. When you call Sprint, you've got the future on the line.
Hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Sports Center 5 special presentation, Inside the Green Machine. Now, tonight we'll take a look at the Celtics on the court, in the front office, and on the bench. We'll take you to Larry Bird's hometown of French Lick, Indiana, and we'll also take you up close with Larry Bird. First, though, let's address the current state of affairs with the Celtics. They are in the finals once again, and it was a sweep of the Milwaukee Bucks that now has the Celtics waiting for either Houston or Los Angeles.
There is no weakness in their team. I've said that many, many times. There's some things they do better than others, but they do everything very well.
For the first 5 minutes of Game 1 with the Bucks, both clubs had a weakness. They couldn't put the ball in the basket. The Celtics would thaw out in a hurry, though, and lead 29-12 after 1. The Bucks played poorly. The Celtics steady enough to take control.
We really did come out still. I mean, our first 5, 6, 7 minutes of the game was kind of sloppy, very sloppy.
With the Bucks shooting a chilly 37% from the floor, the Celtics cashed in. They led by 22 at the break. The conference championship would be a mismatch. Folks were making plans for the final.
Yo, what game was that? I gotta see those highlights. Oh my God, was that Bill Walton?
Thaw out in a hurry, though, and lead 29-12 after 1. The Bucks played poorly. The Celtics steady enough to take control.
We really did come out still. I mean, our first 5, 6, 7 minutes of the game was kind of sloppy, very sloppy.
With the Bucks shooting a chilly 37% from the floor, the Celtics cashed in. They led by 22 at the break. The conference championship would be a mismatch. Folks were making plans for the finals after one peek at Milwaukee. In Game 2, the Celtics never trailed. Dennis Johnson strained the voice of Johnny Most with an 80-foot heave, a pass that turned into 3 points.
It was unbelievable. I said that was a good idea. I mean, it saves the energy just to shoot them all from three-quarter court.
Yo, where was this at, y'all? What game is this? That's against the Bucks? Who was that against? Yo, oh, that dunk, and then he just throws the ball down the court and hit a 3? That's crazy.
Don't have to worry about running back on offense.
With an ailing Sidney Moncrief, the Bucks were weak in the backcourt. Danny Ainge and Dennis Johnson torched them for 44 points. The Celtics would turn in a rather methodical 11-point win. They were halfway to the championship finals and on their way to Milwaukee. All the Bucks wanted was one win, for self-respect more than anything else. After teasing the Milwaukee crowd and trailing by 12, the Celtics swiveled heads with a passing exhibition that would have made Bob Cousy smirk. They were simply awesome.
We made a few adjustments and boom, 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 that ball started flying around there, and it was just like a clinic.
Yesterday would be the final day of the basketball season in the city of Milwaukee. The Celtics were buckling up while Milwaukee would buckle under. Danny Ainge would have perhaps the game of his career with 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. His afternoon would be overshadowed by Larry Bird. Bird was challenged from three-point land. Bird accepted, and the Bucks paid the toll. In the fourth period alone, Larry Bird outscored the entire Bucks team. The Bucks were swept. It happened in a hurry, and it was impressive.
Ever since I've been playing, this is the best team that I've seen.
Now, although it was the conference finals, the Bucks were perhaps the weakest of the 3 Celtic playoff opponents to date. Or perhaps it just seemed that way without a Michael Jordan or a Dominique Wilkins to contend with. On the road to Milwaukee, Chicago and Atlanta fell. The tune of this postseason was written early, and it is still being played.
Do they have a weakness on that team, you think?
Do they? No, not that I know of.
The beat goes on.
Now, you know, if MJ say something like that, then you know that team is a problem.
beat goes on.
While the winning beat of the Celtics continued, the beat of Michael Jordan reached new levels. After a jaw-dropping 49 points in Game 1 of the series, he would come back and erase a 24-year-old record set by Elgin Baylor of the Lakers. This time, Jordan would have 63.
Unbelievable, isn't it? It's awful exciting. And believe it or not, he's a lot of fun to play against, too.
But for the second straight game, the Celtics would demonstrate that 5 of a kind beats an ace any day at all. Despite Jordan's 63, the Celtics would take the Bulls into double overtime. While Jordan continued to ooh and ah, DJ and the Chief were ensuring that the Celtics would head into Chicago needing just one win to put the Bulls on summer vacation. But before calling their travel agent, the Bulls pulled out all their trump cards: lovables, dim lights, and even a bit of Super Bowl magic. But the Celtics would be immune to all of that.
They shut down the lights, started getting all fired up, playing crazy music and stuff, and that made us mad.
You remember what Jim Croce said: you don't step on Superman's cape or spit into the wind. You make that mistake with the Celtics and you pay. McHale would crank it up for 31 points, his best to date in this year's playoffs. The Celtics would lead by as many as 30 points, getting double figures from all 5 starters and Bill Walton off the bench. The Bulls were history. The Atlanta Hawks were next.
Nice not to have to worry about Michael Jordan anymore, isn't it?
Mercy.
After sweeping out Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, Dominique Wilkins and the Atlanta Hawks were next for the Celtics. After an obligatory win at their own place down at the Omni, the Hawks would fall in 5.
Well, the best thing I know is to stop them to shoot them. Only thing I can tell you. I mean, because when they got 5 guys out there running like that, what can you do?
The beat goes on. The beat goes on.
Dominique would be handcuffed by Kevin McHale in both games 1 and 2, contributing a mere 13 and 19 points respectively. The Celtics would ice Game 1 by mid-third quarter and take Game 2 on the very same night that Roger Clemens was striking out 20 Seattle Mariners across town. The Celtics would head to Atlanta up 2, with visions of a trip to the coast that much closer. Bill Walton was a scratch for Game 3. 4 of the 5 starters played 40 minutes or more each. The payoff, a 9-point win and a 3-zip lead in the series.
There's a lot of teams in this league that probably can beat us 4 straight, but I have yet to see one.
They would slide back to Boston for Game 5 and put on a show in the third period that shook every square inch of the old barn known.
And my man was on the surfboard sliding. My man was in the ocean sliding.
As the Boston Garden.
Steals the ball, goes down the sideline. It's a 3-pointer parade. I can't believe this. They have blown the doors completely off the city of Atlanta. On the right now to Ainge on the cut to McHale. He's not dead. He's not dead. 22-point lead. 22 points in a row.
It was a run that, I don't know if you could ever get a run like that again in basketball. It was just amazing that we played like that. It was just so much fun. It's so hard to describe it because it was just so much fun. I mean, it was just like it was like we were in our own little world, just playing our own little game, and it was just unbelievable.
And the beat goes on. And the beat goes on. The beat goes on.
Coming up, a look at the heart of the Celtics court philosophy, a talk with Casey Jones, and later on, a must-see interview with Larry Bird, who goes on the record about the Celtics and the people of Boston. Stay with us. The Celtics have always been known as a great team. Think about it, a team. Win together, lose together. Nothing complex, a simple idea executed perfectly. But just when you thought the Celtics had shown you everything you could see in the NBA, along comes 1986, the emergence of a devastating, awesome passing game, as Jack Edwards reports.
While most of us were born with 5 senses, it would seem that Larry Bird has a 6th, and that has transformed the way the Celtics play basketball. Has a team ever passed better? It isn't all Bird. It can't be. As surely as there is a
Yo, this song is hot, bro. I'm sorry, that song is hot.
passer, there must also be a receiver. And there must be the anticipation, the readiness of knowing to expect the unexpected. With Bird, the Celtics moved the ball as well as anyone. How could they possibly make him better? By adding the best passing center the game has ever known, Bill Walton.
I think the best thing he brings us is he knows how to play chess, and he's teaching me how.
That could be taken figuratively as well as literally, for Walton has shown the Celtics big men how to play the intellectual game, and in doing so, he has helped every player on the team. Of course, Walton refuses to be pinned with any credit.
Yeah, the whole idea is when you're guarded by two guys, somebody else has got to be open. And the key is to find that guy, get him the ball in good rhythm, in good position, so that he can just catch it and shoot away. And we practice shooting a tremendous amount, open spot shooting, and we've got some of the very, very best in the league on our team. Led by Larry Bird, and we got Danny Ainge, Dennis Johnson, Scotty Wedman, Jerry Seasking, a lot of guys on the perimeter who can really fill it up. And, if they want to guard those guys, I can leave our big guys open down low. That's fine with us, too, because then we get to shoot all the time.
And the shots are so easy when they come off the pass. Nearly 70% of the Celtics' field goals have come that way in the playoffs, the result of a season of passing clinics, a season of great moments.
It seems that you guys look for passes that other teams don't look for. You thread needles, and the guy's looking for the needle to be threaded.
Well, we know that on this team, if you move to get open, you're going to get the ball. And a lot of other teams, you move to get open, and a guy looks you off and looks for his own shot. One thing that, here the goal is winning, and it doesn't matter who scores the points or who gets the shots. It's just win the game.
So the effort is rewarded, which leads to more effort, which is further rewarded, and it's an upward cycle.
Yes, the whole system sort of feeds itself.
It is better to give than to receive. Cousy said it with his play years ago, but the message was lost in the modern era. Bird brought it back, and Walton raised the consciousness. The pass is the embodiment of the team concept. The better you pass, the better your team. If the highlights don't show it, the record certainly does. The Boston Celtics are the best team in basketball. Jack Edwards, SportsCenter 5.
Okay, Jack, good stuff. Celtics will not play until at least a week from today. Plenty of time for the club to rest and spend some time with the family. Casey Jones is at home right now, and he joins us live to talk about what lies ahead for the Celtics. And Case, first question is, what are you guys going to do with your spare time? It could be possible that you would not play until a week from Thursday. A little R&R first before you get back to practice?
Oh, Mike, a little R&R. I give the guys the next 2 days off. And we'll be back Wednesday at 11 o'clock at Hellenic, and we'll start to work. Now, when L.A. and Houston get finished, then we'll know when we'll play. But right now, the earliest we can play would be Monday.
Let's talk a little bit about L.A. Houston. Houston leads at 3-1. Does that surprise you that they lead 3-1?
Well, it's a bit of a surprise, but I said in the beginning that Houston gave them a very difficult time the last game of the season at L.A. And L.A. wanted to come out and show Houston in that last game of the regular season that they're going to really put it on them. And L.A. wanted to go up by 20 points. That was not the case. It was a tight game all the way through, and Houston lost by 2 or 3 points. It went right down to the wire. And so that gave me a clue, an indication as to what kind of series it might be. L.A. beat them soundly in the first playoff game. Houston comes back from a 14-point deficit in the second game and goes to win it. And all of a sudden, they just gained confidence, and their momentum was just kept rolling right into Houston. And all of a sudden, Houston said, hey, we can beat these guys.
We're going to roll some highlights of the Lakers-Rockets game from this weekend. I want you to play color commentator here a little bit and tell me why Akeem is having so much success with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Well,
that's Sampson, but you can still tell me about Akeem.
Well, Akeem is so mobile, quick, fast, and he's has that innate instinct of just going after the ball. He's such a power on the offensive boards that it's really difficult to box him out. And when he shoots, he gets that ball down low. He gives you these little oomph fakes, and you don't know which way he's going. All of a sudden, he's in there laying it in on you. And if you play for that, then you oomph, and back the other direction for a little jumper.
All right, they've got another problem they will pose for you, too. Robert Reed playing in the back court. You're used to seeing him up in the front court, and that really has been another big reason for their turnaround, along with the play of Olajuwon and Sampson.
Yeah, well, Reed is a 6'8" forward guard, and he's a big guy. He's the same size as Magic. Reed can shoot the ball very well from outside, and he has shown that all year, and it seems he's done it even better since January. You also have Lloyd, who can really fire that ball up, but Reed plays the defense. He hustles and scraps. He shoots the outside shot, pushes the ball up on the fast break, and he's a player. And I've known that, and our team has known that for a few years now.
All right, we got 30 seconds to go, Casey. Can L.A. win? Can they possibly win 3 straight against Houston?
That's a possibility. 3 straight seems like it's impossible, but really, what you have is Wednesday night they will play in L.A. All right, now if L.A. wins, it's now 3-2, and now they come back to Houston, and if they possibly win that one, then it's down. But it's not that. Well, they're up 3-1. It sounds very easy, but it's not.
All right, Casey, enjoy tonight, and tomorrow we'll see you practice on Wednesday.
Okay, Mike.
Okay, Casey Jones joining us live from his living room in Wellesley. Still to come, Clark Booth will travel to French Lick, Indiana, the hometown of Larry Bird, and then Mike Dowling sits down with Bird himself. Stay with us. Southern Indiana. Lazy spring days. Flowers in bloom and birds chirping. But these days, by special arrangement, Hoosiers hear other birds chirping.
Bird up fake. Bird takes the shot. It's gone! It's gone! Oh my goodness! I can't believe it! Yeah! Larry Bird did it again! He did it again! Oh my goodness! He did it again!
Merely for having been the hometown of a notable person. Well, such is the case of French Lick, Indiana, hometown of Larry Bird, where his widowed mother and 3 of his brothers still live. Clark Booth traveled to French Lick and found much more to this pleasant spot in southern Indiana.
It is the quintessential small-town gesture, the dedicating of the local academic grove to the foremost homegrown basketball player. Charming, for sure, and almost enough to confirm the assumption that French Lick must surely be just another sleepy, beer-drinking, country music-singing little Indiana place rescued from oblivion by a single tall fellow.
All alone at the end of the evening.
It all seems so coy, so pat, but it isn't that simple. Those who have chronicled Larry Bird and his many exploits have invariably delighted in referring to him as the Hick from French Lick. Bird, who is quite wise in his way, has not objected. He has even seemed to find, in the impression thus conveyed, something rather useful. But much as Bird is no rube, French Lick is no dog patch. Peel away the rustic veneer, and you discover a slick resort haven with a tradition for extending sophisticated amusements stretching well back into the last century. Early settlers discovered the mineral waters and proclaimed them to have healing capacities for anything that might ail you from internal tremors to premature graying. Around this quaint notion evolved the French Lick Resort. Not quite Palm Springs, mind you, but still one of the most popular oases in the Midwest. Abbott and Costello, Cagney and Crosby, and even the great Profile came here to dally. The Chicago Cubs held spring training here. Joe Louis used the site to prep for fights.
What does the measure, Joseph? That's an even 12 inches, Joe. That's 1 foot.
It was Al Capone's favorite spa back when gambling was still allowed. FDR maneuvered for the presidential nomination right here.
Everybody knows the reason why I'm so happy.
It was long the favorite playground of the Democrats.
French Lick really wasn't big. It was just an intermediate-sized resort area where you could come, relax, enjoy yourselves. But the people who came were still of a cosmopolitan nature. They wanted the extra little amenities that came along with it. The hotels are willing to provide the staff and the things to provide those things for them. So we're very proud of what we have, and we're a little bit selfish. We think we have a good product. We think people should come and visit us.
Barnett runs the French Lick, West Baden, and Southern Railway, another of the town's tourist attractions.
Weaver Crossing. There's a sharp bend to the right.
Climb aboard, and you can slip back into the past for a couple of hours, something 35,000 folks have chosen to do the last year alone. Far from a hick town, French Lick has been separating leisure pursuers from their loose change for more than a century, and doing so with impeccably good manners. And now they have added the living growth industry of Larry Bird to their store of attractions. Quietly, for it is well known the Birds treasure their privacy, tourists trickle by the fine home Larry built for his mother, Georgia. Folks remark about how it's been done in such good taste, right down to the backyard basketball court with the glass backboards. There's also a satellite dish to pick Celtic games off Boston TV, and an otherwise splendid view. You'll get no comment from Georgia Bird on any of this. A strong-willed woman, you'll get little more than a quick wave from her as she drives by in her pickup truck. But at Springs Valley High School on Larry Bird Boulevard, they have no compunctions about exulting over the local legend.
He didn't like to get beat, and if he was beaten, he took it really hard. And the next day, say in practice, he'd come back out and work out a little extra harder. His heart, I think, has more than anything else to do with it. He wanted to win. He made the team members around him want to win more, and he wanted to make them better players. And I think that, you know, this is what a lot of young kids see in him, is passing and giving that assist rather than getting the 2 points. And not really a showboat type of assist, but just getting the ball to a player to score. Maybe his quickness wasn't all that great, but he could compensate for that with just knowing what's going to happen, where to get there, and how to get there. You know, I look upon him as a great star also. You know, a little bit different than I did whenever he was in high school. It's just unbelievable that he could go on and do what he's done.
They wistfully recall how folks spilled over into the streets to watch him play. But it is not his God-given gifts that they glory in, but in that hard-nosed Hoosier spirit that they believe made him what he is. They remember well that Bird came from hard times when he was a kid.
Come from a very, very poor family, and you got to give him credit for it. What Larry is, Larry made himself.
And he used to come along here in the morning, dribbling a basketball or carrying it under the arm. He was knobby-kneed and not at all. He didn't look like a ball player.
You know, it makes you feel real proud to have a brother like that. Sometimes I look out there and I say, you know, I just can't believe it. You know, here's that, you know, I see his jersey go by and there's our name right on the back of it. You know, it's just hard to believe that we would be like that, you know, that we would be noticed.
In 19-year-old Eddie, the last of the 5 Bird boys, they thought they had the golden reprise. And at times he was more than a mere echo, leading the Blackhawks almost as far as Larry did. He's had moments when he seemed almost eerily his brother's brother. But there are whispers about Eddie's desire, or lack thereof. And Eddie himself seems to agree.
We was real poor back in, you know. The family was real tough to get along, you know. And now, you know, Larry got me a car, and you know, just stuff's coming easier, you know. I got good clothes.
They play together, big and little brother, on the backyard court his brother built. And what Eddie says about such experiences is revealing.
He shot constantly. I'd go shoot around with him, and he'd shoot, and I wouldn't be able to shoot as long as he did. My arms would just be dead. I couldn't shoot no more, and he'd still be out there cranking them up.
But if
Yo, at least he's being honest, though. At least he's being honest.
fame is to come to only one bird, it will be enough for all. Larry's good fortune has been nicely spread about. Older brother Mark is in the process of capitalizing upon it gladly with a liquor store that will in no way de-emphasize the family's claim to fame. A nice little family business, a comfortable stake in the good life of the hometown seems to be the modest limits of their ambition.
French Lick, really, for such a small town, has a lot to offer people. I mean, there ain't no place this size that I know of around that you can drive 10 miles and go snow skiing in the winter.
Is that me or he had a black eye? Did he have a black eye? I wouldn't be surprised if he had a black eye. I think that's a black eye, bro.
A stake in the good life of the hometown seems to be the modest limits of their ambition.
French Lick, really, for such a small town, has a lot to offer people. I mean, there ain't no place this size that I know of around that you can drive 10 miles and go snow skiing in the winter, and they've got a lake 10 miles down the road that's big enough you can go water skiing. I mean, it is huge. It's probably the second largest lake in the state of Indiana. And then plus they got the hotel over here where they have theater and they have just everything. A championship golf course right here within 2 miles of French Lick. Now, there ain't too many places got all that for this small town.
Which is why, for all his fame, the local hero seems unlikely to ever sever his ties. French Lick is the antithesis of the searing cauldron Larry Bird regularly inhabits, and by all sensible standards, it is a much better place. But you will have a hard time selling that to a whole generation of bright-eyed, knobby-kneed French Lick youth. The Bird example of the wages of devotion has been ingrained. On it, above all, is the grand illusion that it can happen to anyone. From French Lick, Indiana, this is Clark Booth reporting.
Good stuff. When we come back, Larry Bird one-on-one with Mike Dowling. Bird as candid and as open as you've ever heard him. Stay with us.
All right, y'all, we're going to do a part 2 of this. Yeah, this joint is definitely good, though. Definitely good, man. I'm glad I did this. But look out for part 2, y'all. Look out for part 2. It's going to be coming ASAP. So probably when this drop, definitely look out for part 2 after this drop. Definitely will be happening. But yeah, man, this is definitely good. I'm learning a lot. And yeah, that's about it, though. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that like button, man. Part 2 is definitely coming ASAP. So definitely look out for that, man. Appreciate all of the support. And yeah, I'm out. Peace.